Myers, it is Sunday morning. Good morning. Let's try again. Good morning, Unity Fort Myers. We get to be together, guys. We've got to be excited about that, right? It's exciting to be back together after a year. I just want to speak to the virus and the protocols. Okay, I'm standing here without my mask. I know, sorry, guys. But I have been vaccinated, and we are practicing our safe distancing. But especially since we're recording and streaming, we need the voices, to be clear for those things. So sorry about that, but you all have to keep yours on, and I get to have mine off for a little while, okay? All right, let's join together in our opening prayer, shall we? Divine Spirit, we are so grateful for this opportunity to come back together physically and to be able to celebrate Sunday morning together with like-minded people in one of our favorite places. And so we don't take that for granted. We say thank you. And we take a moment to breathe that in and just really know how important it is to be here together. Even though we have been together in spirit and through online and all the ways that we had the blessing of being together. But we're just so grateful for this time together where we can share some thoughts and some ideas and hopefully find the peace and love that will soothe our hearts and help us to experience the next week and move forward and be the love and light that we can be as Unity of Fort Myers in the world. And so we just say thank you, and so it is. Amen. All right, so once again, I'd like to welcome you, both streaming and on YouTube and whatever way you connect with us. We're so happy to have had that. I often share with my patients at the Cancer Center how blessed we were in this last year, because we didn't have these opportunities in past kinds of epidemics or things. You had the telephone line that used to hang on the wall. A lot of us here remember that. There are kids that don't remember that, right? And so we have been able to stay together. But so you can follow us on Facebook, and if you are watching us on Facebook, we thank you for that. And you might want to check in with your followers and let them know that we're here and having this service this morning. And I do remind you to silence your phones and those kind of things. Is there anyone here visiting us for the first time today? All right, welcome. We're so glad you found us. They're going to give you a little present of a shell necklace. That helps us recognize you as a guest. And we usually would run up and hug you and love on you, but we can't do that. So we may give you an elbow, but hopefully people will welcome you and say hello. And there's a bookstore across the street after service. And so if you have any questions, find any of us. We are very helpful and friendly people, but we thank you so much for finding us and joining us today. We hope you will consider us as your spiritual home.
Good morning, Unity. I am Jerry, and I am platforming with Sam today. So wonderful to see all your faces. As you know, Unity was founded on affirmative prayer. So as we bring up our prayer chaplain for today, Sherry, I would like for you to join me in saying the prayer box affirmation. All is well, for it is on earth as it is in the kingdom of heaven. And Sherry is here with us to pray with us right now, as well as after service. She's available in the prayer room.
Dear Father, Mother God, as we release all our cares, worries, and concern to the Divine Spirit, we know that divine order is coming into every life, every situation, every possibility that is contained within this beautiful vessel. It's all sent to the higher power, to the God within, and all is well. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Sherry. That was beautiful. So we have the blue prayer request behind the seat backs in front of you, so you can put your prayers here, or you can just put your prayers here through all your thoughts. Just drop them right into this box right now, and we're happy to pray over them for you, as well as Silent Unity being available to you 24/7. And now, if you can stand and join me in the oneness affirmation. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And now this is the time where we would usually greet our neighbors, but maybe what we could do is just wave and send love to each other through the air. That would be terrific. Thank you. And now we'll just have a couple of announcements. As everyone's aware, we get notified through our emails and through the newsletter of all the things that are going on here at Unity, and there are many things, so we hope you're connecting with us. One of the most important things for me this week is the board meeting is coming up. So the board meeting is Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock, so we do hope that you call in and listen in on that meeting. We do have Denise here, who would like to give us an announcement for today.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Denise, for those of you who may not know. And I am one of the 4 Unity team leaders for Lee Interfaith for Empowerment, which, as you probably remember from last week, is life. I'm just here to remind you that with a very little bit of time and very little effort, you can help make 2 community situations change for the better. One of those is our lack of affordable housing for families with annual income of $37,000 or less. And the second situation we have is a lack of crisis intervention training for our community law enforcement officers. You can help us by simply attending Life's Nehemiah Action tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. And you can do that in 4 ways. You can do it with Facebook, you can do it with Zoom, you can do it on the telephone, or you can come to our watch party, which we're going to have over in the chapel building at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And this is what I'd like you to think about. Back before COVID, our Unity of Fort Myers congregation voted to become a church member of Life. We did this because we realize that the work of this organization helps all of our residents. Membership in Life means that Unity of Fort Myers is what we call a church member. But in turn, that means that every member of Unity is a network member of Life. So tomorrow night is the most important Life meeting of the year, the Nehemiah Action. Several city and county officials will be there, including the mayor of Fort Myers and the sheriff of Lee County. And they will be there to consider proposals that Life is making to improve these two situations that I've just noted. So we as Unity team leaders are asking you as network members of Life to support this event by simply coming to the chapel building tomorrow for a 1-hour meeting, or by attending the meeting from the comfort of your own home. Now, after the service today, I'll be hanging around the back door. So if any of you want to sign up, you need to sign up because we merely have to have a chair for you when you come to the meeting. And I can give you the links if you are going to do it from home. But I'll be hanging around the back door for a little while after the service. If you have any questions or want to sign up. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Next Sunday after service, we're having a renewal of vows for anyone who's interested in that. And we also have a agape happening next Saturday from 9 until 1. So if any time from 9 to 1 you're available, please stop by the grounds. I'm sure that everyone will be happy to have you here. We continue our classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have a new class starting in May on Wednesday evenings, and that's how to attract volunteers and keep them. And on Saturday, May 22nd, there's going to be a yoga and crystal bowl sound bath. So for anybody that stayed for that crystal bowl a couple of weeks ago, it's just a beautiful, beautiful time, and Chris Starr is here, and it's just fantastic. So thank you. Okay, so now I'm going to do an inspirational reading before the message. It's the heart that fears breaking, that never learns to dance. It's the dream, afraid of waking, that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul, afraid of dying, that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember, in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, life's the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose. Thank you.
This is J.D. Martin and Jan Garrett up here with me. In the quiet of the railway station, waiting for the train, I hear the shuffle of the souls who've come before and pondered your name. It seems the best of us are traveling soldiers with a longing for home. And when we've seen it all, around the bend comes something quite unknown. God of mercy, God of compassion, God of known and unknown things. Rest assured, I'll be guided to higher ground next hurricane. And in the rhythm of the locomotive, our toiling human dreams spin them together, and you just might find things are not quite what they seem. And when you fear your life's invisible, just breathe in and breathe Perhaps the point of it all is to ask in dreams and out loud, how might I love before my life is over? How might I love right now? I got a call from a friend I thought I lost back in 95. He said, it's good to hear you, how you doing? I said, it's good to be alive. So good to be alive. God of mercy, God of compassion, God of known and unknown. Rest assured, I'll be guided to higher ground. Next hurricane, a night of traveling delivers me to a town I've never known. The sign says welcome. I say thank you. I believe I'm welcomed home. I believe I'm welcomed home.
All right. I apologize. I haven't been up here speaking for a while. I platformed just a couple weeks ago, but especially since we have guests, I didn't tell you who I am. I just figured you all knew me, but maybe you don't. So I'm Samuel Stone. I'm a licensed Unity teacher here at Unity Fort Myers, and I'm a chaplain at the Regional Cancer Center. So that's my definitions of who I am in the world. But today we're going to talk about some different definitions, hopefully, that you do know, but I want to remind us. The title of my talk is What is Love? And I'm basing this, I started this from Matthew chapter 22, starting in verse 35. And one of them, a lawyer, asked him a question, trying him. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And he said unto them, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. And the second is like unto it, and it is this, Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments the whole law hangeth. That's probably verses that are familiar to most of us. And as I looked back in my church life, when this topic has come up in the past, the focus had been about the loving your neighbor part. Because we often need to be reminded with the people that we encounter sometimes in the world that they are indeed our neighbor and that we do want to love them. But what occurred to me was that you can't love your neighbor if you don't love yourself, which is very much a part of the verse. It's a very short verse. Love your neighbor as yourself. Right? So that old thing about on the airplane, if you have a child, put your mask on first. That's an example that's used very often. You can't help save somebody else if you're not there to save them, correct? But I want to take that a little deeper and in a different direction. I was raised Baptist and I went to Baptist seminary, so I studied the Bible most of my life, but until I found unity and metaphysics, it didn't wake up. And it didn't make much sense to me because there are lots, as you may know, of contradictions in the Bible. But when you look at it metaphysically, it makes sense. So I thought we'd talk about some of the metaphysics of this verse. Love. Metaphysically, do we know what love is? We all think we know what is love. There's millions of books, millions of movies, millions of songs about love. But it's kind of like nobody can actually define it and nobody can actually figure it out. And what is it really? Okay? Metaphysically, it's the pure essence of being that binds together the whole human family. Essence of being. And of the attributes of God, love is undoubtedly the most beautiful. In divine mind, love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe. Love is the binding agent of the universe. the pure essence of being in divine mind. Let that soak in for a second. Does that expand and open what the possibilities of love might really be? And how to perhaps be with love, because it is a being in the essence of God, right? In divine mind, love is the power that joins it by divine harmony, the universe and everything in it. The great harmonizing principle known to man. So we've always had a sense of love makes the world go round. Love is important. We can't do without love. But for me, it's kind of hard, and unconditional love, we hear lots about that. But how do you stay with that when you're being practical in the world with all the things that we face? This last year has been a challenge, right? All the changes and all the things that we thought might be and we thought were, suddenly are no more. And the things that we took for granted, being able to be together and depending on each other, those things all had to shift to a different way of being. So it challenged us. How do you be loving when you're locked in your home for a year, right? And how do you love yourself when you're with yourself or you're in your house, right? It can be a challenge. And so that's why I wanted to talk about it today. Divine love is impersonal. Love for its own sake of loving. It is not concerned with what or who it loves, nor with the return of love. The pure essence of the mind of God is not concerned about any external, worldly, physical things. It is a principle of God. It's an inner quality that seeds good everywhere in everybody. It's the great harmonizer and healer. Whoever calls on God as the Holy Spirit for healing is calling on the divine love. The divine love that is the being of the essence of all that is. And that is the source of all that is. So that's some of the metaphysics of love. The other thing I wanted to speak to, because the other main point in that verse for me was Lord. Love the Lord, right? And again, Lord and God is one of those hard things to define. And a lot of us have had a lot of descriptions of it that didn't work for us. I know my church of origin, God was a big, bad, mean man. He was going to judge us and cast us all away if we didn't live up to whatever all the rules of that church were. And I left that really early in my life because that didn't make sense to me that God could be that. So metaphysically, Lord is the activity of the spiritual I am as the ruling consciousness. The Lord God of the Scriptures, the Christ, is spiritual man, divine consciousness. Lord is absence of form. It is not a little old man with a beard sitting on the throne, right? We all learned that about God. Lord is the oneness of thought and purpose in the individual as well as in the presence, one, and in the one power, the omnipotent good, which is man. Sometimes we don't get that part of the definition of God. Omnipotent good is man, which man must know and consider in his contract with the world. This principle of oneness controls life. So loving yourself is about learning this. Actually, it's about unlearning all the things that we've experienced all of this time and all the things that the world has told us and movies have told us and books have told us and sometimes families have told us. Because loving can sometimes be in a family of if you are different than we thought you should be, we can't love you and we will cast you out. And I have had a lot of experience of that, and I know being a marginalized person from a marginalized group, that's one of the most devastating things that can happen to you, right? So it's not dependent on any of those things. It's unlearning all of that and going back to the I am. Because I am is the name of God. I am is the essence of the world and of life and all that is, and it is good. And God is I am. When Moses asked him, he said, what is your name? I am that I am. I am that I am. I am the oneness. We're all connected in that. And it's the world and society and movies and books and all of that stuff that tells us otherwise. And this last year could have been an experience of, I'm separated from everybody and everything. Right? I had to be locked down in my house. And that was even for me, as much as I've studied this, as much as I feel it, as much as I work with my consciousness of really living and knowing who I am, the world's rules infringe upon me. And being stuck at home by myself, feeling once again a lot of the stuff I felt a lot of my life, for feeling ostracized and separate from everybody. I don't belong. I don't belong for whatever the reason is that I don't belong. I beat myself up. Anybody here? I know none of y'all do that. Right? We can be the worst on ourselves of anybody in the world. Some of it's old tapes from Mom in my head, which I have to really learn to interrupt very quickly. But a lot of it is that's why this verse was so important to me. Love your neighbor as yourself. But it also means love yourself as you would your neighbor. Right? Most of us would not be rude or judgmental or condemning or make them wrong. We've learned to interact in the world better than that, how to be polite and respectful, and we could use more of that, obviously. But most of us have learned that, and so we live that in the world. But what does the self-talk do? Right? It's easy to fall back into that. I had to learn that. I used to, it's one of those things that you don't know why you get that message, but you did. My folks were great people. I love them, had a good life. I'm not saying that. But they were also very judgmental people. Oh, you got an A-? You only bat 500? In most places, 500 is really good. Most pros don't bat 500. Right? But that was them trying to encourage me to be better. It was their way of saying there's more to do. Right? But as a child, I wasn't hearing there's more to do. I was hearing you're stupid and you're wrong. Right? You can't get it right. And so when things infringe upon me, when things come at me from the world, like maybe being shut in your house for a year, those tapes can start to play again. And it's easy to go back to those things of maybe I'm not okay. Maybe I didn't learn. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing, right? Some of it may not be that intense because we have learned, and unity people are very introspective, and we've learned a lot. But think about the subtle messages and the self-talk that you give yourself. And think about whatever that message you're saying is, oh, I should have done that better. Would you have said that to your best friend if they had done the exact same thing? Oh, you should have done that better. There's a judgment and a condemnation, and I'm making somebody wrong in that. Are you doing that to yourself? Because if you are, we need to interrupt that. And it's easy to do. Really easy to do. But the reason to do it, it's easy to say that, but the reason to do it is because you are the I am. That's why unity was so important to me. Because when you get the understanding of who God is, the best picture of that for me was Star Wars. Right? I'm a Star Wars fan. The Force. Right? The Force was a really good example in the movies that you could see and experience of. It is an essence in the world that is around and in and through everything, and while in and through it. Right? And you can either be with the Force like a Jedi, or you can be with the Force like Darth Vader. But it's still the essence of all that is, the I am. And I am the I am. So what are the things that I do that interrupt me from that? What are the things that I do that separate me from that? Those are the things I want to catch. Those are the things that I want to interrupt. Because they're not true. They've never been true. No matter how much you heard them, no matter how deep mom's messages are, or the world's messages, or the teacher who, you just couldn't get an A on the paper, no matter how well you wrote it. Not true. And there was motivation for them to help you try and improve and get better, but that's not the message that we got. And it's not the message that we internalized or that we kept. And we can't be the love of I am in the world or for our neighbor until we're that for ourselves. And so we want to find the ways that interrupt the message, that help us hear the right message. I use that word right, okay. Because it's the truth of the metaphysics of this verse. And that's how we interrupt those things, and that's how we anchor those things, and that's how we grow those things. We have to keep going to that place, and then be in that place, and come from that as we go out into the world for our neighbor and for anybody else. So, some of us need permission. I know I did. To make the major change that I made in my life. I needed permission, and that permission came from my sister. Luckily, we have a good relationship, and of course she knows me better than anybody. And when I was really, really, really struggling, she said, Sam, don't you think that now you can actually admit and go for it? Go for it. And a huge weight dropped off of me. And major changes occurred in my life when somebody who really does love me unconditionally, although sometimes brothers and sisters, but unconditionally, said, you have permission. It's okay, Sam. Go for it. Go for it. So I'm telling you, you have permission to know that you are the I am, and to live from I am, because that's the way that we're loving. Loving for ourselves, loving for our neighbor, loving for our world. And if we want to make the changes in the world that we would like to see happen, this is the place that it happens from. So you have permission to interrupt whatever that old stuff is, and find a way to continue to reinforce and come back to this place of the I am. One of the things that helps me with that is an old movie, The Prince and the Pauper, where a street kid who's sort of a lookalike for the prince switches places with the prince. So the pauper's been on the street, living in the trash, stealing things, whatever, all that is. And then he had snuck in the castle and met the prince, so they knew they were twins. And the prince wanted out from under all the rules and the restrictions and the limitations, and that's the stuff he saw from living in the castle, right? All the weight of the royalty of, the kingdom. And so they switched places. So nothing was different about the kid except he got cleaned up and had another set of clothes. But all of a sudden he was stepped into being the prince of the kingdom. And everything that he ever wanted, all the resources of the kingdom were suddenly at hand. Okay? And then it's a lot of story. A lot of things happened. And they both learned from the different roles that they took, right? And appreciate the things that they got to take away from that. But for me, what I took away from that is I'm a child of the King. Because when you're a child of the King, you have all the resources of the kingdom at your hand. So anything that you want, when you want it, you declare it, and everybody in the castle and everybody in the kingdom has to respond to the wish, to the request. No matter what the request is, no matter whether it should be a request or not, doesn't have anything to do with it. But all the resources of the kingdom are available to you. Y'all, we're all children of the King. The I am is all the resources of the kingdom. Okay? The I am is the essence of all that is. And the essence of all that is, God, everything, all the potential, all the possibility, all the resources of the universe are there. Always. Omnipotent. That's part of what that means. Omnipotent. The trick for us is to make the request, to connect to it. Because as the I am, living in a physical body, the catching of the divine idea from the resource of the essence of the universe, when you're in the I am space, you catch the divine idea. The possibilities that are in the universe. And when you catch it and you call it forth and you name it, then you're co-creating it. And you make it manifest. The law of attraction, right? We live in a law of attraction in unity. But this is the works, the mechanism that makes that work. I am a child of the King. I'm an I am in the I am. And so when we have problems and challenges and we're in our circle and in our loop and we're doing that stuff that we get caught in doing, you stop it. And you get quiet. We always talk about getting quiet in unity. This is why. You can't solve the problem from the space of the problem. You can't find the source, the resource in the problem in the world. You're just caught up in the facts and the bank account and the whatever reality is in the physical. But the physical is not the reality. The reality is the truth of I am. I am. I'm a child of the King. When I get quiet, go into meditation, prayer, whatever you call that, when I get a space from that, then I remember who God is, the essence of all that is, divine mind. I am. So I remember who God is, and then I remember, oh, I am that I am. Now we're connected in the one. We remember the one because we let that stuff that's separating us from the I am, from the one, go. And now I can catch the divine idea. All the resources, all the possibility of the kingdom are right there for me. And then, out of that space, solutions come. Creation comes. Possibility comes. The reality of what love is, the empowering, harmonizing healer of all, I'm now in it, being it, and can bring that back forward into my life. Does that make sense to you? Okay. All right. Cool. Each of us is a creator, there is a part that is for ours to do. There is no pressure, there is no right way, because that's the other thing. It can feel pressure, even in metaphysics, I see this a lot of time. Are you manifesting? Are you passionate? Do you only believe in the good? Do you not talk about challenges? We don't have challenges in unity. Right? Law of attraction. It's all wonderful. It's all good. Yes, it is. And sometimes we forget. Okay? Right? There's not a right way to do it. There's only, am I separated from who I really am, so I'm not loving myself, remembering what love is, remembering that love is God, and God is I am and I am. So don't get hung up in even Unity's way of you have to be passionate, you have to be serving the community, you have to be great, you have to be successful, you have to be smart, you can't have money. That's the stuff. Then the judging starts. Oh my gosh, I can't even do it in Unity when they're, they're the place they do it. They're the law of attraction people. Why can't I do it? Well, because you're stuck in the outside, and you haven't remembered who God is. So all of this is about saying you have permission to remember that you are a child of the kingdom, and I am of the I am. And in that oneness, we can love the world, we can make the changes that we want to see. And so thank you for being part of that. Is there a song before meditation? No song before meditation. Oh, you talked to me about that. We're not doing song now. Meditation, the music under the meditation interrupts the recording for the people who are listening. So we're just going to do the meditation in the silence. Yes? All right. So get comfortable in your seats, please. You may want to uncross. I know it's comfortable to sit that way, but sometimes that's a good thing to do for this. And if you're comfortable and you want to do so, you can close your eyes. If not, do what works for you. Okay? Let's take a couple of deep breaths. And as you continue to be conscious and aware of your breathing, be aware of breathing light down in through the top of your head. And then let it begin to make its way all the way through your body as you continue to breathe in the light and the peace of the presence of the One. And as you begin to feel your body lighter and relaxed, let your energy shift from your heart and from your breathing down into your heart. Just let whatever's on your mind go. And relax into the light of your heart space. This is the place where we reconnect to the I am. This is the place that we remember who God is and who I am. And in the quiet and the peace and the grace of this space, everything is good. I'm home. This is the essence of who I am. And when I let myself remember this space and come back to this space, I have a sense of peace and safety and relaxation. And that all is right with me. And so just let yourself be in this space of being home in the I am that I am. I am one. I am peace. I am grace. I am love. I am loving. I am powerful. I am empowering. In the essence of all that is, in the I am, all things are possible. And whenever I need, it's easy and quick to come back to this space and to reconnect to this truth, the truth of who I am. And then in the truth and the knowing of this, I can reemerge into my life and into my work and into my world. And I can be a light, a shining light of this essence of love, the empowering, harmonizing, healing of the essence of all that is. And whenever I get knocked off of this center, I know that I can come back to this space. And it's always here. I just forget. And so I can remember and come back and then bring it out and go once again. And so we are truly grateful and thankful for the truth of this understanding of the I am and of loving the Lord and loving myself as I love my neighbor. And then all truly is well. And so we begin to take a few more breaths and let our energy come back into this space. And when you are back and ready, continue to take a few breaths and open your eyes. And all is well as it should be.
Would be our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. You give us this day our daily bread. You forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. You lead us not into temptation. You deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
right, it's a time in our service where we do our offering. We're not going to be taking the collection with the baskets, guys. The baskets need to be at the doors. Okay. Oh, you're bringing them to bless, huh? Okay. So we need your offerings. There's a lot of grounds and campus and staff and stuff that we do here at the ministry, and all of that is funded by our tithes and offerings and gifts. So we are very, very, very grateful for your continued support. So as you go on your way out, would you please drop your offering in there? Are we doing the blessing? Okay, we're doing the blessing. With these gifts, with divine purpose and power to do what is true and good in the world, we bless these tithes and offerings and the work that we are here to do and the work that this empowers us to continue to do as we move forward in the world. So we are so, so grateful, and we thank you so much for your gifts of time, talent, and treasure that you continue to shower upon us. And so it is.
Well, until we can welcome our children back into the sanctuary, we will, in the meantime, just rub our hands together and bless all the children in our community and in the world. And please say with me, you are loved, special, and important. We behold and bless the Christ you are. Do we have the peace song today? Yes. Okay, we're going to try to sing this again. Remember we tried to do this last time?
Please don't join hands. Stand up, sing, but don't join hands. Okay, gotta keep our distancing.
Okay.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
There it is.
Let there be peace on earth. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as Creator. Family are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my song of life. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And now for the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am that light. The love of God enfolds us. I am that love. The power of God protects us. I am that power. The presence of God watches over us. I am that presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And our closing affirmation, strong in faith, steadfast in love, we are ready to receive our good. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Have a terrific week.